Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, The Housewife Historian. You can call me Lindsay, and we will be talking about the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. And this is going to be somewhat of a deep dive on Mr. Harry Hamlin. I'm not going to bore you guys with a bunch of nonsense that you don't really care about. I'm going to give you the good stuff that I came across. Also want to let you guys know that everything in this video is of course alleged. I've been telling you guys for a long time that Lisa Rinna had a 5-year contract with Bravo and that the contract stated Harry Hamlin was off limits, okay? I found an article that basically proves it. This article from the Daily Beast, February 2019, they reported they had an interview with Harry Hamlin, and he spoke about his feelings when Lisa joined the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills and how they concocted certain things because he didn't want to be part of the show. And just like I have told you guys many of times, and people always came for me, Bravo wants the husbands involved. At least they did back then. Old school Bravo wanted to see the husbands included and involved. And I basically have Harry Hamlin making statements, corroborating all of that of what I'm telling you. What caught my attention was a quote that Nikki Swift had quoted Harry Hamlin as saying about the housewives and how he assists Lisa in making sure that she stays on top. And so they quoted him as saying, Harry says, as if him and Lisa, are together, that I, as in Harry, pull out my psych degree from Yale and my DSM-5 manual, and we see what all the personality disorders are blossoming and figure out how to deal with all the personalities and what Lisa can do to stay above the fray. Flag. Throwing a flag. You're using your psych degree to figure out blossoming personality disorders, how to deal with those personalities, and how Lisa can stay above the fray. Wow, okay. Kind of sounds like you're I don't know, like hitting people in a weak spot. Like if you're basically diagnosing people with a personality disorder and you're using it to stay afloat, that seems a little throwing a flag. Okay, anyways, guys, let's get into the other stuff. We're going to be talking some good stuff, some good quotes from him today, guys. So this article that we're going to be speaking about really focuses on the time when Lisa was in contract and right when she signed up to be on the Housewives. And Harry, he didn't really want her to go on the Housewives. He said he had 2 divorce attorneys, or he had a divorce attorney that had already done 2 divorces for him. He really didn't want to have a 3rd divorce. Everyone gets divorced on the Housewives. But they had a hard 20 years. Like, he really wasn't acting much. She did It Depends, if you guys don't remember. She got paid $1 million. They had a store in the Valley. It was called like Bellagonda, I think, and it was like their clothing line. The store got robbed when they were on the Today Show, and Harry was taking phone calls from the security company about the store because it had just been robbed, and he took the call on live TV, and allegedly they were in some sort of a reality TV dealing. That's why they were on the Today Show, and of course this robbery took place right when they were on the Today Show, and Harry was taking phone calls about it while they were filming live. And of course, Lisa's loving every second of it. And she's like, this is why you got to watch this show. This is real life. But in real life, their store is going bankrupt, sadly. It was not doing well. The clothing line did not do well. It robbed or not, the store was failing, okay? We find Lisa. If you had looked for Lisa Rinna in 1990, do you know where you would have found her? The circus. That's right. You would have found Lisa in 1990 in the circus. She was a tightrope, if you want to know. She was in Circus of the Stars, and she walked the tightrope in 1990. She did Playboy in 98 when she was pregnant to show ladies that you can still be sexy when you're pregnant. Now let's get back to Harry talking about the housewives. Now here he's going to corroborate exactly what I've been telling you guys about Bravo, that they don't directly put the men in a contract. However, they have a responsibility to still be involved and to still film. That's how the ladies stay on, that's important to Bravo. They want to see a family dynamic. Now that has changed a little bit in the last years. However, it's still a thing. It's definitely a thing. He even says, oh gosh, where is the quote at? He basically says that Bravo wants the men to be involved. He did not want to be involved. I'm so sorry, guys. I just have to find it. Okay, here we go. He says, they were going to hire Lisa if I didn't do it. They weren't going to hire Lisa if he didn't do it. He quotes that, okay? He says, they weren't going to hire Lisa if I didn't do it. And husbands have the same obligations as the wives do. They want you to show up and be involved, said Harry. Quotation, I wasn't going to do that, so we concocted a way to get around it. Let me read that again, guys. In quotation, he says, they weren't going to hire Lisa if I didn't film. If Harry didn't film, they weren't going to hire Lisa. And the husbands have the same obligations as the wives. They want you to show up, be involved. He said, I wasn't going to do that, so we concocted a way around it. He's saying, we concocted a way around it. We worked out a deal and got a contract, so I don't have to be involved. That's what Harry is saying. He's saying without saying it. He's trying to say, I was scared we were going to get divorced. But really, he was saying, I was scared I was going to get outed. And things are good for me, and I'm happy in Canada. And I don't want to take the chance of going on a reality show and end my whole life being outed. That's what he's saying. He said, I have my divorce lawyers on speed dial. I've had 3 opportunities to use them. It's the same guy. We send Christmas cards to each other every year. So he said, the interviewer says, so we see you as much as you want to be seen, basically, after he says that they concocted their plan. And he says, exactly. I don't have to do any of it. Sometimes Lisa will come to me and say, they're begging me to do a scene with you. If we give them that, I'll get brownie points. So he gives them a scene. I told you guys, I've said this from the get. He doesn't have a contract with Bravo. He has a contract with Lisa. He has a contract with Lisa. She wants him to come back, film a couple of times. He comes in, he puts on the smile, he plays the husband, he makes the pizza sauce. But you guys, viewers still pick up on the fact that when she gave the birthday speech, everyone was commenting about how it just seemed awkward between the two of them. But he comes home from Canada and he films once or twice, and he woos and he ahs and he talks and he chats and he talks, and they get all of that, and Bravo loves it and the viewers love it. And then he takes his happy rear end right back to Canada and goes back to living his life, and he's happy to do that. And Lisa's happy for that too, because then she's in LA doing what she wants to do. Now, so what do we know? What are we getting from this? We're getting the fact that he didn't want her to do it because he says that he was scared they were going to get divorced. But since he had to do it, he also talks about her first scene on the show. He says LVP, Lisa is introduced by sitting in LVP's restaurant waiting on Harry to fly in from Vancouver, Canada. He arrives hours late and refuses to sign the contract he was asked to sign. Quotation, they had shot all this great stuff with Lisa. They had to shoot me without signing a release. Just saying, he didn't want to do it. He did not want to do it. You know what finally got him? Bethany Frankel. How did that happen? I didn't even know Bethany and Harry were friends. Well, apparently they were acquaintances, at least, because we all know that Bethany made her millions by the Skinny Girl brand. There was actually called a Bethany clause because she had somehow managed to get this contract with Bravo, because she was like her business wasn't anything when she started. So Bravo they gave 0 Fs if there was nothing to give Bravo. She was driving a beat up car, delivering cookies. Like, there was no business. But when there was a business, they didn't have nothing in the contract. She had something in there protecting herself, so she didn't have to give them no money, honey. And that came up. They named it the Bethany Clause because they made sure it never happened again. And that's why now when these ladies start their own jewelry, makeup, whatever the line is, if they're advertising and talking about it on the show is getting a percentage. He says, Bethany made millions on her skinny brand. And Harry and Lisa had a clothing line at that time. Yes, they did. I told you guys they had a store in the Valley. And he put that basically she convinced him to do it from a branding position. He agreed to do it. He said, and then I was open to do it, but on my own terms. What's his own terms? He puts his own terms in the DM contract. You think his terms protect him? I think they protect him. I think him and Lisa are not stupid. I think they've been around a long time. And I think that Harry, is in his 70s and he doesn't want to rock the boat, right? And he wants to make sure he's protected. He's not no dummy. So 5-year contract. He's on his own terms, films when he wants to, gets her brownie points. One last thing I wanted to mention that I read in this article, which was very interesting to me. He says that she calls him Harry Hamlin only on the show. She doesn't call him Harry Hamlin in private. In private, it's just Harry. And he says, I think she does it because it's letting people know, the audience know, like, Harry's still alive. He said, I'm alive and I'm still an actor. So he's saying that it's her way of like advertising Harry Hamlin, because she says Harry Hamlin, Harry Hamlin. And then the ladies, Harry Hamlin, Harry Hamlin. And it's in a way keeping his name sort of alive, I guess would be, because I don't think he's getting work necessarily from his name being mentioned on the Housewives. Maybe a little bit of clout. I think Lisa Rinna has just always used the fact that she was married to Harry Hamlin to get whatever it was that she needed. So it's just her natural instinct to make sure that she lets people know that Harry Hamlin is her husband, right? There's so much problematic. It's hard to talk about Harry Hamlin sometimes because of the fact that we do know he's in Vancouver doing his own thing and allegedly has a lot of relationships and lovers in Vancouver. And the first thing people say is, he's up there cheating on her, and they always talk about his sexual preference because allegedly it's different from what we've seen thus far with Lisa, right? So I just always try to remind people, like, it's really not even about his preference, because in Hollywood, honey, they all are giving it to each other. It doesn't, and so it's just really more about the fact that he's living a completely different life. Lisa fakes it for the cameras. She has her daughters faking it for the cameras, and it's just a little bit messed up. It kind of shows like her character, right? It shows her character, guys. Like, they're basically lying to us. I mean, what does Harry care, right? And the girls, of course, they probably don't want people to know. I mean, I always try to remind people, and you can look this up in Kris Jenner's biography, Kris Jenner, Everything Kardashian. She talks about when she first met Bruce Jenner that he was on hormones and he actually had developed like a C-cup breast size, and that he had told her, and they talked about it, and that he agreed he would stop the hormones if they got married, and that's what he did. So it's not unlikely that they would have hooked up and Harry would have told her, like, hey, I like you, I love you, but I'm also into A, B, C, and D, and either you're gonna like it or you're gonna leave, or we can work something out. And she was happy to have money and clout, and Lisa's been struggling in Hollywood to try to be a Kathy Hilton status her whole life. Well, her whole adult life. I think that's why she has such a hard time with Kathy, because she's really just struggling to be in Kathy's position at this point in her life where she doesn't have to worry about hustling and money and keeping up with the Joneses. She can just buy whatever she wants. But she's not. They got like 3 mortgages on that house. 3. And I think she was really counting on her daughters to make the money, hopefully, and take care of them, which is so strange. She has two daughters, Amelia and Delilah. And I have said this in a couple of other videos where Lisa doesn't really show the one daughter on her Instagram. It's always Amelia that she shows. And Amelia was in Fashion Week, and she was in Balenciaga, and she walked for Yeezy, and she did this. And we just don't see that kind of attention go to Delilah. And I just like to point that out as well, because I don't know if she does that on purpose or what, but when Delilah did her live and she talked about her tick-borne illness and her anxiety in the middle of the night and having to call her house keeper to come stay with her, she was scared and she knew her parents wouldn't come down. It's just little things like that, guys, that you kind of pick up on that you're like, wow, that's interesting, right? And it also seems to me that when she does post Delilah, it's always for a Lisa Rinna lip kit advertisement. Just saying. Also, Harry Hamlin wrote a book that was published in 2010, and it was called Frontal Nudity, and we will be talking about that in my part 2 video. I really just wanted to touch base on these other facts so that we have a base to build on for part 2 and possibly a part 3, because this is some juicy stuff, guys. I mean, this is wild. This is really Harry telling us that Lisa has a golden contract, and that when Kim Richards flipped out in Amsterdam and she said, let's talk about the husbands, she was talking about Harry. She was talking about his lovers in Canada. And she was also talking about a young, beautiful actress who had allegedly had a lot of potential in Hollywood that she alleged endured an essay from Harry, allegedly. And she never acted again. I think she left Hollywood because they said Lisa threatened her, allegedly. Yeah, threatened her. Like, Harry and Lisa were already married, and this actress was telling people what happened to her, and so Lisa needed to shut her up. And after Lisa went and spoke with her, threatened her, allegedly, whatever she did, the actress left town. She acted no more. She was done. And allegedly, that was the rumor that Kim was speaking about when she said, let's talk about the husbands. And of course, everything that goes on in Canada. So, all right, guys. Well, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, turn those notifications on, and we'll be looking for a part 2 to my Harry Hamlin and Lisa Rinna deep dive. Bye, guys. Have a great day.